Now, after we have seen the factors that affect the demand for the commodity, we can now briefly talk about the law of demand. We can now talk about the law of demand. The law of demand. Well, this is a very interesting concept, because we normally meet the ideas I've been discussing with you in the normal life. They are not so complicated, so you don't have to claim them. You only have to understand the idea and think on the relation between the factors. Therefore, the law of demand comes from the definition of demand itself. When we are defining demand, I said that demand is the willingness and ability of the consumer to purchase goods and services at the ruling marketplace. That is how we define the demand. So demand is the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Price and the quantity demanded. So what does the law tell us? The law of demand. How does it state? The law states that an increase in the price will always lead to a decrease in the quantity demanded, ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus. We are applying this condition, ceteris paribus. So you can state it briefly that ceteris paribus, an increase in the price will always lead to an increase in the quantity demanded, and vice versa. What do we mean by vice versa? That an increase in the price will also, a decrease in the price will lead to an increase in the quantity demanded, ceteris paribus, meaning that other factors remain constant. So this is how the law of demand states that an increase in the price leads to a decrease in the quantity demanded, ceteris paribus. Other factors remain constant. And this is true under normal circumstances, that even if you go to the market, if you find that the commodities are sold at higher prices, you are likely to purchase few quantities of that commodity. You are likely to purchase few quantities of that commodity. For example, if you go to the market, let's say to buy, just a simple example, you are going to buy, say, clothes, and you find that the clothes are sold at a higher price. So if you expected that the price is, let's say, 5,000 per cloth, and you were planning to buy, let's say, 10 quantities of this clothes, say trousers, for example. If you find that, let's say, the price has increased from 5,000, let's say, to 7,000, for example, we expect that, under normal circumstances, under ceteris paribus, we expect that the quantities that you expected to buy will decrease from 10, say, to 8, or say to 7, or to any number, but not the same exact number as you expected. So that is the law of demand. Now, after we have discussed the law of demand, we can now use the law of demand to draw the demand schedule, or the demand schedule, and later on we can draw the demand curve. Okay, so we have the idea of the demand schedule. The demand schedule. First of all, what is the demand schedule? The demand schedule is just a tabular or a tabular representation of the price and the quantities demanded. And this tabular representation represents the law of demand. So in other words, we are going to take a simple example. As I said, let's say an example of, let's say, trousers. Example of trousers. And we are going to theoretically present the demand schedule. Therefore, for example, let us say that we have the price and we have the quantity demanded on this side for trouser. The price and the quantity demanded for trouser. When you're constructing this demand schedule, you have to pay attention to the law of demand. As I explained, an increase in price will normally lead to a decrease in quantity demanded. So if the price is high, quantity demand will be decreasing. Okay. So for example, let us say when the price is, for example, 10,000 for example, you have bought, let's say, 10 trousers, for example. This is just an example that when the price is 10,000 for the trouser, you have bought 10 trousers. If the price increases, let's say to 15 per trouser, we expect the quantity demand of trousers to decrease, say to 80 trousers. If the price also increases, let's say to 17,000 of the same trouser, Tanzanian shilling 17,000 of the same trouser, we expect the quantity demand to decrease, say to 60. And if the price increases further, let's say to 19,000, we expect also the quantity demand of that trouser to decrease, say to 5. Maybe you can buy 5 when the price has reached 19. And let's say if the price goes to 20,000, even the quantity demand will decrease, say to 3 or maybe to 3 or 4. Just an example. Okay. So this is how we can construct the demand schedule. It is a tabular representation of the relationship between a price and the quantity demanded of a good or service. Therefore, from this table, you can see that the law of demand has been observed, because an increase in price is leading to a decrease in quantity demanded. However, there are some cases. Of course, we are going to look at the abnormal demand curve later, where there are cases where an increase in price will lead to an increase in quantity demanded. That is the abnormal demand curve, of which we will discuss in the next video. So from this tabular presentation of the demand schedule, we can now use this schedule to draw the demand curve. And the demand curve is also defined using the law of demand. It is defined using the law of demand. It is the curve which portrays the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded of the commodity. So we are going to use this same schedule to draw the demand curve. How do we draw the demand curve? First of all, when you are drawing the demand curve, you have to be aware that the demand curve has a negative relationship. It has a negative relationship. There is a negative relationship between the price of the commodity or service and the quantity demanded. Therefore, you have to understand that there is a negative relationship between the price and the quantity demanded of the commodity. So when you are drawing the demand curve, you have to be aware that the slope of the demand curve is sloping downward from left to right, representing the law of demand. So it is so simple to construct the demand curve. We start by drawing the y and x axis. This is the y axis, and this one here is the x axis. On our y axis, we put the price for the commodity, and on our x axis we represent the quantity demanded of the good or service. In this case, the quantity demanded of the trousers. Quantity demanded of trousers. So the price for trousers and the quantity demanded for trousers. Okay, we can use a scale. To present these numbers on our vertical and horizontal axis. We can use the scale to draw these ones. But briefly, I am going to, because they are ranging from 10, 15, 17, 19, 20. So they will range from 10 to 20, and I will take an interval of 2. I will take an interval of 2. Of 2 for price. So let's say this one is beginning from 0 to 10, let's say to 12, to 14, to 16, to 18, and here to 20. To 20. I have taken an interval of 2 for each. Okay, and on our horizontal axis, we have the quantity demanded for trousers. And the number is ranging from 3 to 10. So I can also take an interval of 2 for each. So from 0 to 2, 6, 8. Okay, yes, from 0 to 2, 4, 6, 8, and to 10. So what do we do? Just look at the relationship. Just you present one number after the other. You just look at the relation between the quantities and the price. Okay. So for example, if the price is 10,000, in this case our 10,000 is here. If the price is 10,000, the quantity demanded in this case is 10. So 10,000 goes with 10. So 10 is here. If you have a ruler and if you have a graph, you can simply you can have a very clear diagram. But in this case, I'm just portraying the example. You can be able to follow accordingly. Well, when the price is 15, in this case, 15 is somewhere here. 15 is somewhere here. When the price is 15, the quantity demanded in this case is 8. Quantity demanded is 8. So where is 8? 8 is somewhere here. So 15 goes with 8, somewhere here. Somewhere there. 15 goes with 8. And when the quantity demanded, when the price is 17, quantity demanded is 60. So you also follow accordingly. 17 is somewhere here, below, above 16, somewhere here. So it goes with 60. So 6 is somewhere here. So 6 will be matched by quantity demanded and the price. And the procedure goes like that. And at the end, we end up by having a downward sloping demand curve, and we label it by D. D will represent the demand curve. So this is how the demand curve appears. And as I said, it is representing the the relationship between price and the quantity demanded. You can see from the graph that an increase in the price, as the price is increasing, the quantity demanded are decreasing. This is what we call the demand curve. This is how the demand curve is being constructed from the demand schedule. So the demand schedule and the demand curve are somehow related. However, you can draw the demand curve without the demand schedule, but we recommend that you first of all construct the demand schedule, and from the demand schedule you construct the demand curve, because this one will be showing you the prices for goods, for the commodity that you have purchased, the different prices for the commodity or for the service, and this one will be showing you how many quantities you have purchased. So you present them graphically. Here you have presented them by using the schedule, and now you are presenting the same relationship using the demand curve. And this one can be regarded as the individual demand curve, where an individual goes to the market to purchase different goods and services. Of course, it is an interaction between an individual consumer and an individual supplier or an individual seller, because the one who is purchasing is the consumer, and the one who is providing those goods, the one who is selling trousers in this case, is the seller. So from this relationship, we can also have the idea of the market demand curve. The market demand curve. So the market demand curve, in this case, it is the quantities of goods and services that are purchased by all the consumers in the market. For example, if you go to Kariakor market today, Kariakoo market is the market in Tanzania. I'm using it as an example. If you go to Kariakoo market today, you will find very many consumers, very many buyers buying different goods and services. And those consumers or buyers can be buying they can be buying from a certain shop, and you may find that they are buying the same product but at different price. And of course, when I was discussing the factors that affect the law of that affect the demand for the commodity, I said that there are other factors. One of the other factors would be the ignorance of the consumer. Before I talk about the market demand, let me briefly explain to you what do we mean by ignorance of the consumer as another factor. That is why I use the Z to represent other factors that affect the demand for the commodity. So ignorance of the consumer is another factor. If you go to the market, for example, if you go to Kariakoo today and you go there when you are ignorant about the price prevailing in that market, you will end up buying goods at a higher price. You will end up buying those goods at higher price. So when the consumer is ignorant about the price in the market, normally he will buy the goods at higher price. So ignorance of the consumer also affects the demand for the commodity. But when you have the knowledge, about the prevailing prices for different goods and services in the market, you are likely to buy them either at the market price or at the lower price. You cannot buy them at higher price because you are knowledgeable and you have the knowledge about the price of the commodities in the market. So this is another factor which affects the demand for the commodity. Now let's come back to the market demand curve. So as I said earlier, this one is the horizontal, we can say it is the horizontal summation of all the quantities purchased by different consumers or different buyers in the market. Remember, a market is the place. If I am to define this simple concept, when we talk of a market, we say a market is the place where buyers and sellers meet to exchange goods and services. So a place where buyers and sellers meet to exchange different goods and services at a given marketplace and a given market price. So there should be a place, there should be consumers, there should be the price for the commodity, there should be time, specified time for the exchange to take place. For the market to exist, these few factors must be considered. So a market is the place where consumers and the buyers meet to exchange goods and services. Therefore, when we talk of the market demand curve, it is the horizontal summation of different quantities purchased by consumers in the market. And when we talk of a horizontal summation, in this case we are going to assume that the prices for the goods, are the same. The price for the goods, the prices for consumer A and the price for consumer B and the price for consumer B for consumer C is the same, but the quantities that they purchase on those different on those same prices are different. Therefore, what do we normally do? We normally take the demand for for consumer A plus the demand say for consumer B plus the demand say for consumer C, etc., etc., to come up with the market demand curve. But what we normally do is to sum up the horizontal, the quantities purchased by those consumers in the market. So in this case, we can have the demand schedule and the demand curves for all these consumers, and in the end, we are going to sum up the quantities purchased by those consumers. I am not going to draw the demand schedule for these consumers because in the previous example we saw the schedule for an individual consumer. So in this case, I'm going to use the demand, and I will use an hypothetical example for the demand for consumer A, demand for consumer B, and demand for consumer C in order to come up with the market demand curve. So let's take an example that this is consumer A. Consumer A, this is the price, and here we have the price on the vertical axis, and we have the quantity demanded on the horizontal axis. Do not forget to label these ones. Just call this one the quantities, and this one are the prices for the goods and the services. So for example, the price is ranging, take an hypothetical example that the price is ranging from 5 to 10, let's say to 15. And here the quantities are ranging, let's say from 2 to 4, let's say to 60. This is an hypothetical example. Okay. As we said earlier, demand, we are guided by the law of demand, that an increase in the price, if there is an increase in the price, or you can define it in another way, that if there is a decrease in the price, if the price decreases, then we expect that the quantity demanded will increase. We have used the other words, that if there is a decrease, if there is a decrease in the price, the quantities will increase. Conversely, if there is an increase in the price, automatically the quantities will decrease. Therefore, you don't have to claim, you just have to understand these concepts, okay? Now, in this case, let's say if the price is 5, we expect that the price is lower in this case, so this consumer will buy more, so he will buy 6, okay? He will buy 6. Okay, if the price increases now to 10, we expect the quantities to decrease. Say now he's buying 4. Now he has bought 4 because the price has increased. And in this case, it has doubled. It has doubled from 2 to 4. This is the double increase. And now the price has also increased from 10 to 15. We expect the quantity demand also to decrease. He's now buying 2. There is a double increase in, there is a double decrease in quantity demanded because of the increase in the price. So if you join these dots, you will realize that the graph, if I have used a clear graph, my line would be so straight. It would be so straight that here we have demand and here we have demand. So this is the okay, this is how now we draw the demand curve for consumer A. So we are going to add this one. We are going to add this one with the demand curve for consumer B. We are going to also to take a simple or an hypothetical example. Simple example, okay? Simple example. Let's say that also this consumer is, okay, here we have the price for the commodity, and we have here we have the, on the horizontal axis, we have the quantity demanded for the commodity. We are assuming that these people are purchasing the same commodities, and at the same price, So for example, the price here is 10, the price is 5, 10, and here the price is 15. But the quantities are different. The quantities that they purchase on these prices are different. Now let's say this one here, when the price was 5, this one, yes, the price is ranging, let's say from 1, to 3, okay, let's say to 5. It is an example, to 5. So we also observe the law of demand, that a decrease in the price will normally lead to an increase in quantity demanded. Conversely, an increase in the price leads to a decrease in the quantity demanded. Therefore, we are also going to use the same idea that when the price was 5, we expect this person to buy more, so he has bought 5. Okay, so 5 with 5. That is the point. Then when the price increased to 10, this person bought 3. He bought 3. So here is the dot. And when the price now increased to 15, he decided to buy 1. So we can join these dots. That is how the demand curve will appear. This is a bit steep. It has a steep slope compared to okay, they are both steep, but this one looks to be steeper than this one. This one is a bit gentle. Okay. Anyway, they both have steep slopes, but that is not the point. The point is, as the price increases, the quantity demanded of the commodity decreases. As the price goes up, these individuals, these consumers A and B, they tend to decrease the quantity purchased, and that is normal. That is normal in the economy, that when there is higher prices under normal circumstances, people will tend to buy less of the commodity. So I was supposed to add another consumer. I would add another consumer here, but because of the space left, I am going now to draw the market demand curve for these two, for consumer A and consumer B. But you can add consumer C using the same scenario, okay? So what happens to the market demand curve? This is what happens. Now, as I defined earlier, here we have price. Don't forget to label price. And here we have the quantity demanded of the commodity, quantity demanded. So don't forget to label your graph, because on the vertical axis we have the price, and on the horizontal axis we have the quantity demanded. So as I defined the market demand curve earlier, that it is the horizontal summation of different quantities purchased by different consumers in the market. Okay, so we said that we are going to maintain the same price. So we will be having 15 here, we'll be having 15 here, we'll be having 10 here, 10, okay, 10, and we'll be having 5, somewhere here, 5, okay. So how do we sum up? How do we sum up these quantities? We are going to sum up systematically. So you take these 2 plus 1 here, we have 3 here, okay. Then 4, this 4 here, plus 3 here, we have 7, and we take 6 plus 5. How much is that? That is 11, okay, 11. So you can see that the quantities, the market, the horizontal summation of different quantities are changing. They are now increasing, because this person, when the price was 10, when the price was 15, this person bought 2, but here when the price was 15, this person bought 1. So you take 1 plus 2, the answer is 3. So from here now you can draw the demand curve using the same understanding that when the price is 5, quantity demanded is 11. You see that now when the price was low, these two consumers bought much. They bought more quantities of the good, or in this case we are talking about the trouser. They bought more trousers when the price was low. When the price was 5, they bought 11 trousers. But when the price increased to 10, they bought less trousers. And this is according to the law of demand. So when the price increased to 10, they bought 7 trousers. And when the price increased to 15, now they bought few trousers. They bought only 3. So you can now join these dots to draw your market demand curve. So this is how we come up with the market demand curve. But as we said, as I defined the concept, you may not go through this process. You can simply define it by saying it is the horizontal summation of different quantities purchased by different consumers in the market at a given or prevailing market prices. That is the definition. But if you are to draw the market demand curve, you can either go straight to these graphs, or you can use the demand schedule to portray the market demand schedule. And from the market demand schedule, you can use the market demand schedule to draw the market demand curve. The prices and the quantities will be represented by both the demand schedule and the demand curve. So members, that is how we define this concept, and that is how we illustrate them to present the meaning of the concepts. But as I said earlier, in economics we use assumptions. So under ceteris paribus, these assumptions, these graphs will operate.